and she refused to look at me. That's what I feel dirty about. At one point, I almost teared up. Do I have no dignity? Vlog. I know what you're thinking.
What did you do to Stephanie Sue? Who is that bitch sitting in front of us today?
And let me tell you something. That is so rude, okay? I don't know what's going on, guys. I have been going through some shit, and so today I have decided to do the worst reviewed, because I know that like people were doing like, ooh, like cute shit, like the worst reviewed pizza restaurant in my city, the worst reviewed restaurant in my city. I even said one, click right here. Actually, I don't know how to edit that shit in, but I am deciding today to do the worst reviewed, the worst rated makeup from
Sephora.
And now this is not gonna be like the ones that have no reviews, that are new and fresh and fun. These are gonna be the ones that actually have multiple reviews, and they're not good. And we're gonna be doing a full face of the worst reviewed products on Sephora while talking about my worst experiences lately, because there has been a lot, and I have been breaking out so much, and I know what you're thinking, like,
Stephanie, like, stop being so humble. Like, your skin looks actually really good.
I have some tinted moisturizer on because I'm not stupid. I'm aware, but I'm also not stupid. We've got a couple pimples hiding under this tinted moisturizer, but I'm gonna put some foundation on top of it because that's what adults do. You just cover up your problems with more and more foundation, and that's what I'm gonna do today. Today's video is not gonna be one of those hashtag positivity makeup booty guru type of videos where it's like I've got a 25 layer rainbow cape coming out my asshole. Like, this is gonna be a video where I'm gonna be— Who just farted? Who just farted? In the middle of my intro. Rude. I am about to put on some foundation. We're about to get into the thickness of it because today's video is gonna maybe rub you the wrong way if you don't like bad experiences, worst experience, sometimes a little bit of a rant, sometimes a little bit of complaining. This is not the video for you. And also, if you don't like people who suck at makeup, what's going on in today's video? This is supposed to be a good girl talk. It's okay, you can do whatever you want. She's injured, she's the princess of this house. She can literally— do you guys see her Cartier love bangles? Let's get into the vent talk. I posted this on my Instagram story. I mean, I'm just gonna get into the makeup. I have a hard time multitasking, so this is about to be a girl talk, story time, a rant. Here's what I'm hoping is gonna come from this makeup routine. If I were a makeup artist, if I were an MUA, if I were a okay? I feel like I'm the worst that ever existed. I am the worst at applying makeup. The makeup that I got today, they all have really bad, really negative reviews, and I feel like I'm a negative at applying makeup. The makeup is a negative, and like two negatives makes a positive. Today, that's kind of like the theory that I'm gonna go with, and so hopefully I'm gonna fall in love with some of these products, and everybody else on the face of the word, and everybody else on the face of the earth hates them. And so these makeup products are gonna go on sale, and I'm gonna snatch all of them up, and that's just kind of like what I'm hoping I get out of this video. This first product is the Bare Skin Bare Minerals, and I think this is supposed to be like a foundation. I'm not sure. Did someone— is this a return product? It's like ripped and stuff. It might be. This is the color. They only have 4 different shades. What happened to the world of shadiness? I mean, I don't know makeup, so like maybe this type of makeup, it's a serum foundation. It like molds to your skin tone. I don't know. And I think I got the palest one. Oh, I'm not sure. Let me read you some reviews on this, okay? It says, the Broasted Foundation, sitting on face. That's literally what everybody says, that it just sits on your face. All the Tinder fuckboys are like,
what? What do they do?
Okay, and it says that it separates, it's sheery and oily, and it looks scrambled, but like not like the good type, like eggs. I don't think it comes with a brush. Someone mentioned it came with a brush. Mine didn't. I think I'm just gonna apply it in the way that I apply my regular foundation, which is totally different from this, but I'm gonna apply it with a booty blender, which yes, it's disgusting. She's gross. And I'm gonna get into today's rant. Today's rant, guys, I don't even— Oh no, you know, everything about this was okay when I was doing a tiny bit of my face. Love that like my voice is like vibrating because I'm punching the shit out of it. When I was first applying it like right here, I felt like, hey, this applies kind of well, but I do understand why everyone's saying like it just kind of sits on your eye. I didn't get a setting powder. Oh shit. It's like a very weird feeling. Like I feel like I have gunk on my face, but not in a good way. Let me just explain what's been going on. So if you guys don't know, if you guys haven't been following my Instagram stories, at Miss Mango Butt, and essentially what's been going on is Mango got really, really sick the other day. She was throwing up in a way that was so alarming. Like it wasn't just like, oh, like my gag reflex wasn't working. So much vomit. This is a really good video. There's just so much vomiting, and so we were really concerned, and the time that it happened was around 7 o'clock, and so most of the vets at this point, they weren't taking any walk-ins, they were all closing down, and so the only other option we had was to take her to an emergency vet, which are a little bit more costly, but that's like besides the point. And she is so horny, I think it's the medication. We had just moved downtown, and the vet that we went to is super close to our old place, but now it's super far, and like 7 o'clock is like prime time, traffic time, bitch. We were just a little bit concerned, like how is she gonna be in the car, like what's gonna happen? So we ended up calling a bunch of vets downtown, and like that's besides the point. Nobody was good, so we decided, you know what? Dogs are stressed out. Like we think that dogs are just chilling, but dogs got a lot of thoughts. I feel like dogs have a lot of anxiety. And so I was thinking, since Mango is sick already, I might as well bring her to a place where she feels comfortable. I made the executive decision. I feel like I need a little bit more foundation. Honestly, I don't hate it. It's not as gunky as I thought it would be, but I also did apply like half the bottle. So, yeah, so we decided to take her to VCA ASEC down on South Sepulveda. And the reason that I'm like calling them out like this is because I don't fuck with companies that do this, and I feel like I am the type where I never complain about companies, or at least I try not to. Like unless something really jeopardized my health, or like I almost got scammed, like they tried to scam me. Last time she was sick, which really wasn't that long ago, we took her there, and I recommended this vet like so many times in that vlog. Honestly, I'm like really not mad about this foundation. What do you guys think? Like I feel like it's actually really good at covering my under eye circle. So we take her to the vet. We decided to drive all the way over there, go into a waiting room, a doctor comes, and immediately, I mean, she wasn't rude, she wasn't mean, and it's so hard to describe this feeling. And if all of these, see, this is a situation where like, please listen to the full story before you like get up in arms about it, because if it was just A that happened, or B, or C, or D that happened, this entire video would not have been made. But because it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G that happened, it's like collectively everything just piled on top, and I was like, I'm gonna go in with the Sephora Vivid Earth. I don't know why. Normally when I do my regular makeup routine, I always do my foundation and then my eyeshadow next. It's kind of weird. I don't think that's the proper way to do it. This one, a lot of people didn't have too many problems with, except for the fact that you have to really build up the colors. It's not very pigmented, but it is also very affordable. So I don't know if I'm gonna hate it. I did read a comment that said that the pinkish colors will make you look like you have pink eye. I'm excited about that. I feel like in the beginning when one of our dogs was sick for the first time, we went to the vet and we were like, anything you want, do it. Like she needs facial, she needs hookah bar, press on nails, whatever you want for Mango, we are gonna do it for Mango. But then now that we've been so many times, I kind of understand like the routine, but I also understand like the business aspect of it. Like these vets, they're still a business. Like they still gotta make their coin. And so no tea, no shade to the hustle, but it's also like, I just know that I don't have to do everything that you tell me to do. Just trying to see like what color I wanna do. I think I'm gonna go with the color Wild. But I've also like never tried this like green mossy color. I do like the color shades here. It's like earth. Like I feel like Mother Nature will be like, you know? She's like suggesting like blood work, you know, this, that, and I know my dog, so Mango almost always, every time we bring her into the vet, she has pneumonia, which I've asked so many times, like how do we prevent pneumonia, how do we get it out of our system? And it's like nothing that we can prevent because she's such a flat-nosed baby that like essentially pneumonia means that there's moisture in her lungs, like liquid in her lungs, and the reason that this happens to her is because she's so flat-nosed that she has a lot of respiratory problems, which means she'll like cough up food very easily. And there's really nothing I can do about it but try to catch it early, right? So I know that typically when we go in, she just needs some x-rays. I mean, let's be real. She just needs some x-rays. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's start with the x-rays. And she's like, well, I really think you need the blood work. It was just more like, hey, let's look at the x-rays first. And if we still can't figure out what's wrong with her, then let's look at the blood work, because blood work was like an extra $400. I just didn't see the need for it at the moment. It's not like I'm never gonna do blood work. We leave her because x-rays take a little bit, and we went out to go eat dinner. I just like make us sound like such bad parents. And then we get a call saying like, hey, so she has severe pneumonia. So obviously we're thankful that we caught it, but we're also a little bit like, oh shit, this is bad. And so then they go on to say, but we really recommend that you get the blood work. And now at this point, I was a little bit confused. And so I was just kind of asking her like, hey, like why do we need additional blood work? I just think that like, don't we just start treating the pneumonia right now? And I had my sister on the phone too because my sister is a pharmacist. And like when you go to pharmacy school, you still learn about all of these things like in the medical field. And so my sister is like, okay, well ask her why she needs the blood work, because if there's signs of like abdominal, I don't know, my sister said something really intelligent, right? And so I asked the doctor on the phone like, excuse me, why are we doing the blood work? He's like, something about like, I don't know. I mean, I could really just chop it up to like her being a bad communicator, but she just kept saying things like, you know, something about the red blood cells, something about the white blood cells. I wasn't mad, but I was kind of sad because this vet, we always trusted them. Like they are the type where the previous doctors that we went to, they were like, yeah guys, I don't think you need the blood work right now. If anything, get the x-rays done first. And like the x-rays were not cheap. I think it was somewhere between $600 to $700. And so it's not like, oh, we're just gonna pay for this $40 procedure and like fuck everything else. It was like, it was a lot of money. And so usually the vets are like, okay, like, you know what, why don't we start with the x-rays, because we think that it's probably this based on our symptoms, and then if we don't know, we can move on to the next step instead of just charging you for every single test that exists out there. She ended up having to stay overnight, which this whole situation made me feel so weird about her staying overnight, because I was like, how do I know that she really needs to be there overnight? Like, I think that's the worst thing about like vets, when they break your trust. If you can't go back there and check on your dog, and so she's like, because she's not eating, we can't send her home, and so you have to pay like $1,000 plus to keep her overnight. So we ended up paying, I think, a total of like, the price becomes a little bit important later because I don't want people to think that I'm like literally nitpicking. We all in all paid $1,700 that first day. Now the next day rolls around and this is when the shit starts getting popping, and we get a new vet and she really popping off on us. I'm gonna blend a little more because maybe I can just like blend my anger into my eyelid. Next day we get a call, and like I said, this place is really far. This place is like where we used to live. I feel like I'm still on eyeshadow. I think I'm gonna go in with this Element, you know, she's elemental. It's like a gold color, and I guess they were really right about this build-up thing because I'm getting no pigment. But I do feel like I've been a little bit spoiling myself with my Pat McGrath eyeshadow. I feel like ever since I used that one, which by the way, worth every penny. Oh, also if you guys, I know that like my fiance does my makeup one was sponsored by Ebates, and this one is not sponsored at all by anybody, but I know that like Sephora is having a 4% off of Ebates cashback. So if you guys signed up for an Ebates last time with my link, make sure to check out Sephora and maybe not get, you know what, the payoff is okay. I might get this at Sephora for 4% off, I'm just kidding. But if you guys are interested, I got all these from Sephora, I'm gonna link them. But I'm also gonna link my Pat McGrath because that one's amazing. This one, I had to go like this so many times. My Pat McGrath one, just like, oh, pristine. You know what, I'm really not mad about it. Let's go in with the Rustic and an eyebrow pencil because I don't know why. And I'm just gonna kind of like outline my crease. We get a call the next day and they're like, hey, come pick up your dog is fine, we're gonna send her home with some meds, we're discharging her. But like we said, we live in downtown, so is there any way that we can come a little bit later, because right now it's like prime traffic time. And they were like, as long as you pick her up before 5 o'clock, this is so pertinent, as long as you pick her up before 5 o'clock, you will have a remaining balance of about $400, and that's for like oxygen charges, I don't know what other charges there were. And as long as you pick her up before 5 o'clock, you are not gonna be charged any extra fees for her care. So you will just be charged that $400, but you won't be charged anything else. If you come after 5, it will be an additional $300. And so you bet my ass that I got there before 5, right? So I left the house and I even gave them a call while I was going there, I think like 30 minutes in advance, saying, hey, I'm on my way, because they had called and said like, let us know when we should get our meds ready for her. And so I called and I got there 20 or 30 minutes after the call, and then I told the front desk, hey, I'm here for Mango. I sat my ass down in the waiting room. Well, I feel like we should add some eyebrows to my face. That seems like it'll be a good edition. I really look like I just went through my mom's like makeup cabinet for the first time. So this one is the Makeup Forever brow pencil. I don't know why it gets such a bad rap. This is what the pencil looks like, and we're just gonna go into it. Someone says that it will slide all over your face. Ooh, this is weird. I wait in the waiting room. I get there at 4:33, and I remember this because I texted my fiance the minute that my little booty touched that waiting room chair, and I said, it's so crazy busy in here. I ended up leaving the vet at 5:30ish, so it took me about an hour, and I don't know if most of it was waiting. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know if most of it was waiting or the arguing part, and also shout out to the fanny packer who works at BCA, like, we're gonna get into that. So I go to the front desk and they're like, okay, mango's ready for you. I love that I'm ranting with one eyebrow out. I'm like, do I have no dignity? I'm like, okay, thank you. Like the remaining balance, right? I think there's like $400. And the receptionist is like, no, it's actually $700. And I was like, what? Why? So I call my fiance and I say, hey, didn't the doctor who called us earlier said as long as we pick up before 5 o'clock that it's gonna be $400? And he said, yes. I'm absolutely certain. And so I look at the sheet and I see the billing and I see that they added the medications, which would have made it about $500, which is fine. Like obviously we need to pay for her meds. Like I'm not trying to get myself out of a discount or anything like that. And so I'm like, okay, but what are the extra $200? Because from $400 to $500 because of the $100 of meds. Got it. But why is it from $500 to $700? I just don't understand it. And so I'm asking the receptionist and he really doesn't understand it either. And so I'm like, what's going on? Like, let's study and analyze this bill together. How much did I pay yesterday? Because they had compiled all of the charges onto one sheet. And finally, he had highlighted the new charges. Then he's like, oh, it's for the extra care, like for the patient because you came after 5. And I was like, well, actually, I came in here at 4:33. And then he was like, well, the charges are right. I called my fiance and like, I will say that I didn't take my anger out on him to the extent that I think was maybe called for, but I did try to keep it chill, but I also did try to let them know that I was really unhappy. And at one point I almost teared up because listen to how they treated me. Need to put the brow pencil down because it's about to get serious. Essentially, he's saying there's nothing he can do about the bill. And I'm like, well, that's not okay because, I mean, this is what I was quoted. I feel really uncomfortable. You can't really even explain to me the extra charges. Like, there's no explanation. If you can explain to me what I'm paying for, I'd be happy to pay it. I'm not gonna be like, no, return the oxygen. And I'm getting frustrated because I'm not getting a direct answer. Nobody's really telling me what it's for. And it just seems shady. Like, the overall experience just seems shady. And so I'm on the phone with my fiance and I'm like, no, that's not okay. And so he's like, well, we spoke to this doctor. Is she here? And he's like, yeah, she is. And he calls the doctor from like the receptionist phone to the back where she was like dealing with emergencies because it is an emergency room. And the way that he spoke to her about me and was saying like, yeah, so, I mean, she wants to talk to you. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I understand. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I understand, yeah. But I mean, she's upset. Like, it was just almost like, I understand, like, you have way bigger things to do in life. Like, I understand you're a doctor and she's not. Like, just the vibe that I was getting from this was kind of like, I'm literally standing right in front of you. I'm getting a little bit frustrated. And then he puts down the phone and he looks at me and he's like, well, because this is an emergency room for dogs and animals, so she's really busy, so it might take her some time to come out here and like talk to you about the bill. So I waited and I was like, you know what? It's fine. And then they were like, you know what, we'll waive it. Like, essentially how we got there, I'm not even sure. I think it was because I was getting so frustrated. They were like, whatever, just take off the $200. And I also think that they realized they made a mistake because they had charged me $200 for a bunch of bullshit, which I'll get into, okay? And so they're like, yeah, we're gonna take off the $200. And so for me, I was still frustrated at this point. Not because like I feel like I deserved a discount, because I know that like they might have thought like I was trying to like pander into more discounts. I wasn't trying to get any discount. I will pay for what is owed. But the problem with it was I didn't like the feeling of if I hadn't said something multiple times, you would have just let me pay the $200 for no reason. Like, that's what I feel dirty about. Like, if I hadn't called my fiance, if I hadn't sat here and said, no, I'm not gonna pay, or if I didn't know what they said to my fiance earlier that day, I would have just paid an extra $200 and nobody would have caught that mistake. And it just makes me feel like every other bill that I've ever paid at this place, I need to question it. We're gonna go in with the Sephora stylographic, dramatic. She's talking to me right now. what is this? I love that I'm like just getting into it, but what is this? It's like a boob. It's a nipple. It's a bowl. People said this is very hard to control. I'm very bad at eyeliner. I have a very shaky hand. And so then that $700 thing was a thing. But it wasn't a thing until the doctor came out. So as I was paying the bill, as everything was becoming settled, love that I'm like putting it down again because I want to rant. As I was paying the bill, as I was paying the $500, I was still kind of upset, but I also even apologized to the receptionist. I was like, I'm sorry that I got upset with you. Like, I know it's not you. I know it's probably not you even doing the billing or any of that. Like, I was very frustrated because I feel like this entire experience has been kind of different from what I'm used to here. Like, not saying like you should kiss my ass and love my dog more than anything, but just like everything just felt like, even on the way home the night before, my fiance and I were talking about maybe they got new management because everything seems so money driven now at this vet, which is okay. But it's like, it just doesn't feel this vet is gonna fucking love my dog and is gonna take care of my dog. And so I was like, I didn't mean to take it out on you. And then the doctor ends up coming out from the back. Now the receptionist is right here and like the doctor is right here, and there's like 6 people in the receptionist area. And like that also was very like, just like, I just felt, yeah, I just felt like not good complaining about that. So I was like, okay, I'm like kind of ashamed of myself, but kind of at the same time I feel like I had the right to complain, but like I was just back and forth and iffy. And this is when the nail was driven into the coffin. The doctor came out and she refused to look at me, and the receptionist stood up, went to the doctor, and there was like this small wall that she was like kind of like hidden behind, but I could still pretty much see her, and I could see 100% of the receptionist now at this point, even because he was standing up. And he was like, oh, like she's right there, and like, but like it just felt so high school bully mentality where it's like, she's right there. Like, it didn't feel like a professional business, like especially not a vet where you trust these people to take care of your sick pets when they're the most vulnerable and you're the most vulnerable. And he was just like, yeah, she's right there. And I'm like, I'm literally right here. Like, I know, like I can pretty much hear them. And so then like the doctor like goes like this, and she looks at me, and like I make eye contact with her, and she snaps back behind the wall, and they start whispering. And the receptionist, dead ass, lifts his hand and goes like this and starts talking to the doctor. Like in front of me, but like does this. So I can't see his lips, but I can like almost hear him. Like, why couldn't he have just gone to the back with her? Like, that would have been less rude, but to like whisper in front of my face, and like the way that it made me feel was like, just so, I don't know, like this is the part where I almost wanted to cry, which sounds like such a baby thing to do. It's so stupid. I kind of wanted to cry at this moment because it just felt shitty, like to think that like this is the person that I trust my dog with. Like, this person is treating me like shit. Imagine like, and I'm a human, and I can talk to your manager and I can talk to your boss, but my dog cannot talk to me and cannot talk to your boss. It was just so demeaning. Like, they were just whispering about me while I was there. And the only words that I heard clearly was when the doctor was like walking away back to the back without even saying hi to me, bye to me, or anything. She goes, it's not worth it. And walks to the back. I feel like my heart was really broken. It sounds so stupid because it's like a vet, but it's like, dude, I don't know, like I just, like I feel like I did Mango dirty. I don't know, And like, I love that I have no precision with this eyeliner. And so he comes back and he goes, well, so about the bill. And like, the bill had already been covered. Like, I already paid for the $500. The $200 was already taken off. Like, at this point, we really don't need to keep talking about the bill. Like, I am on the verge of tears because I just feel so like gross and just gross. I don't know how to explain this, but other than I just felt so gross. At this point, they hadn't brought Mango out, and I was like, I just want my dog like out. And so I'm like trying to get out, and he's like, well, so about the bill, like blah, blah, blah. And he goes into it, and he's like, he pretty much tried to turn it around on us and was like, the doctor was doing you guys a solid. And we were like, what? Well, I was like, what? And my fiance was on the phone, and we were like, what is he talking about? And he was like, the doctor said that she waived the extra fees. Typically, it was supposed to be $700, but she had waived it to be $400. So she was doing you guys a favor. And like, here's the thing. Maybe she was. but I highly doubt it. And I highly doubt it because like my fiance has businesses. Like we know people who have businesses, and also just like common sense of businesses is if you do somebody a solid, you usually let them know, because it's like, hey, I'm doing you a favor as a business, and that usually makes the customer come back. So you want that customer loyalty, so you let them know, hey, typically we'll charge this much, but for this case, we'll waive it for you guys. We understand you're driving from downtown. Like it should have been something like that if she was doing us a solid. Well, and this is when I got mad, because that made me feel like I was dirty, like I was like trying to finesse my way into a discount or something. Like I just felt gross. And so I was like, well, that was never expressed on the phone. Like nobody would have done that. And I even said like, hey, I've been to multiple businesses where they do you a solid, like his words, he said solid, right? And they always express that to you because that's just how businesses work. And he was like, yeah, well, good thing you told us, otherwise, you know, you wouldn't have gotten that like waived fee that she was offering you guys. Just again, just so, like, just say sorry. Like I already paid, just let me leave and don't make me feel more disgusting than I feel. But he was like, nah, let me just go all the way, sis. And so he did that. He went there, and then he was saying like, oh, the charges get automatically added on or whatever after 5 o'clock. And I was like, well, I was here before 5, so like, how is that my problem that the system adds it on after 5? And then the worst part of it all was, I will say that I was like a little bit frustrated and I was a little bit uncomfortable, and I'm pretty sure I expressed that. And when Mango came out, the nurse, I don't want to say her name just because, but the nurse there, she was like, by the way, I'm like a huge fan of you. And I was like, fuck. Like you're probably gonna go back and your coworkers are gonna tell you how horrible I am as a person. I just felt so shitty, and like I am still beating myself up about this. It gets worse. I was gonna put on these Sephora collection lashes, but I feel like maybe this video is getting a little too long. Like I kind of like this eyeliner. It's really putting the look together. Okay, we're gonna go in with this contour stick. Ooh, it says highlight low light face contour duo. Whoa, that lid just came off. Oh God, what is this? I feel like I'm using like those, you know those painting things in those black containers? The ones that you get for school. They're like the pastel, but like they're like the, I don't even know what it's called. A little too creamy for my liking, but what do I know? And so I get home. The way that the medicine was prescribed, right, was in a very interesting way. I think this is the part that really, this is the only reason I said anything on Instagram. This is the only reason I called back and was like, I actually think I need to talk to a manager for the first time in a really long time. I look at the medication that night, and it says that she has 4 medications, and 2 of them were every 12 hours. So I had to give it to her at dinner. And then the other 2 were every 24 hours, which means they had already given it to her that day. And so the next morning would be the time that I administer the medicine. And so the next morning, I'm there looking at the prescription medicine. The medicine seems a little bit weird on the dosage compared to how much was in the pill bottle. So like it just didn't make sense to me. And so I was like, I don't want to risk it. I'm gonna be a good parent. I call the vet and I'm like, hey, I just want to confirm the dosage of this medicine because it looks a little bit wonky. Maybe I'm wonky, maybe I'm crazy. Can you help me out? And so then they read the medication and the dosage that's in their notes on their computer, and it was not what was given to me on my label. So if I hadn't called, I would have given the completely wrong dosage, the completely incorrect dosage to my dog, who can't talk to me. I think that's like the shittiest part. The medicine was incorrectly prescribed. And so, and not on top of that, I did check the dosage and there wasn't even enough, if that makes sense. So not only did they prescribe the wrong dosage for each time because these are multiple day medications, they also didn't provide enough meds to last the entire way that they prescribed. And so I was upset, and I was really upset about that one. And so I told them that I was upset. Wow, riveting story, Stephanie. I told them that I was upset, and they were like, yeah, like, well, our manager's coming in tomorrow. We'll have her call you. And then they called me today, the manager, and she was really sweet. It was very eye-opening because apparently the system does not automatically charge me after 5 o'clock. All of the charges are manually put in, so it just feels like there's a lot of dysfunction, miscommunication in that vet. Maybe not what you want for a place to bring your sick dog. Like, I feel like they really are trying to right their wrong. Yeah, it was just such a bad experience. How do you misprescribe medicine? To me, that was like the final straw. Everything else was really just felt like small complaints. I mean, I feel like these are complainable offenses, but they're not something where I'm like, bring me the manager, you know, I want an apology. It's more like, ooh, I probably won't come back, but I probably won't say anything to them. I just probably will never come back, you know? But then this one was like, how do you not double check the prescription that you're giving pets? Also, Mango's like sleeping so well. I'm like, are you alive? Let me show you guys. Oh, look at her. Look at my baby. Oh, baby. They're both so knocked out. They're both like, Mom, I don't know what you're like yelling about. I'm gonna contour a little bit more because it takes multiple contours to have somewhat of a chin. Wow, I kind of really like today's look. Okay, now we're gonna try these Anasazi matte lipstick sets because my lips have done so much rambling and ranting, so we're gonna need to go in and cover them up. A lot of people were saying that these are not matte, and also they're saying that these are tiny for the price. Wow, these are tiny. Girl! I don't know why they're even called matte. They're like very glittery, actually. Okay, let's try this on. It does fall into my lip creases very easily. Ooh. This is probably my least favorite product. Oh wow, she looks a little real. She looks like she's been through it, you know what I mean? I can't believe I just made like a 30-minute rant on a vet. One thing's for sure, the makeup is poppin'. I honestly really will be using all of these things. I don't know why they're like really horribly reviewed. I mean, I see it, but like, you know, different strokes for different folks, and it kind of works for me. Okay, this one is the cushion bronzer, which I forgot to use. This is the Sephora I Love Cushion. You know what? It's really not bad. It's really not bad. Honey, will you come look at me? Yes, you have to look at me. Do you hate everything or just the brows? What about the lips?
I like your personality.
Bitch, that's so rude.
You're very nice.
She's very healthy. She's a healthy cow. She's good.
She's been eating well.
Really, you don't like the contour? I thought like the
great voice.
Mango is doing well. She's doing great. Look at her, she's so cute. That's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave it in the comments which was your favorite makeup product of this video. If you guys use any of these, let me know. If you guys use them differently, let me know. Or if you guys want to see any more makeup looks. If you guys want to see me follow a Nikki tutorial or a Jeffree Star tutorial, let me know in the comments. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.